recommended 3 mining stocks. There'd be 4 people in a room. So today I'm going to talk about cryptocurrencies, a market that a lot of people claim they're an expert in. It's a new market. It's pretty interesting. I get a lot of questions on it. So I figured let me do my presentation on it, try to give you a few ideas that you might have not heard of yet, because there's a lot of ideas floating out there. And let's begin with the presentation. So 3 stocks that will fuel the Bitcoin revolution. Now, let's see what some of the people are actually saying about Bitcoin. So if you look at the bears, or the bulls. So you have Tom Lee out there saying Bitcoin's going to 25,000. 25,000. I think it passed 8,000 today. So when we put a price tag on something as analysts, we have to try to come up with a measure. We can't just guess. We have to have a model. We have to come up with that price target. So Tom Lee got called out on this, and they said, how did you come up with that price target? And he said, well, I'm valuing it at 5% of the gold market, which he figured was $9 trillion. So this made a market of $450 billion, and that came to a price tag of 25,000. I'm not too sure. We're going to be debating this later on, where Bitcoin and gold are kind of similar, but they're really 2 different markets. So when they asked him to go even further, he said, this generation will use Bitcoin as a store of value instead of gold. Think about that for a minute. A store of value. So most of the people that are in cryptocurrencies are under the age of 35, if I had to guess. They don't even know what a store of value is. I mean, they're not buying Bitcoin and throwing it on a computer and burying it in a backyard or something. They're trading this like crazy. So you got these price tags coming. Then you have Charlie Shrem, who's an early adopter of Bitcoin. He came out and said, well, it's going to be $1 trillion market, which puts Bitcoin at 50,000. Again, it's 8,000. This is a so-called expert. If you do any research on him, exactly, this is what we see. By the way, this is actually clicking by itself right now, so I think I'm going a little bit ahead. And even before this, we're going to go back 1 slide because I'm going to say what the bears are saying as well. You can go to the bulls. You can go to the bulls. You can leave it right there for now.
Do you want me to recalibrate?
This is fine. This is perfect. So let's go with Charlie Shrem, right? Bitcoin become $1 trillion market, over $50,000 price tag. If you look him up on Wikipedia, he went to jail for 2 years. So this is a so-called expert, right? So he basically created a company that used Bitcoin to trade on the black market. And he's an expert. Mark Yusko is a hedge fund manager. I would say he's more charismatic than a popular person, but he says, my long-term price target of Bitcoin is $1 million. What happened to 200,000, 300? Let's just go to $1 million, right? He didn't explain it. But when I went back and looked at the history of Mark, in the last 10 years, I don't think he's outperformed the market at all. So these are the people that are on TV right now. So could we go back 1 slide? So let's go with the bears are saying. Jamie Dimon, people who buy Bitcoin are stupid. If you bought Bitcoin at 900 and it's 8,000, you are stupid. I wish I was that stupid. It's a fraud. That's a big word, guys. We have someone saying it's $1 million and someone saying it's fraud. Howard Marks, famous portfolio manager, says Bitcoin's a pyramid scheme. That was 3 months ago, but he came out recently positive on it. And he said, after I talked to my guys, this actually could be a possibility. After I talked to a lot of people and educated myself. That's what this presentation's about. It's not about buying Bitcoin at 8,000. It's educating yourself about this market. That's what we want to do at this stage. Peter Schiff, Bitcoin's a bubble and will explode. What a surprise. It shouldn't be, I love this line, sorry. It shouldn't be 5,000, but if it can get here and get to 10,000, get to 20,000, however high it goes, it's just going to collapse at the end. That's saying that no matter what happens, they're going to be right. That's what we call hedging ourselves as analysts. What does that do for you? Well, you saw it already. Total confusion. It's going to $1 million, or is it going to crash and it's a fraud? Let's go to the details. Nobody knows what this is yet. I don't care who comes here, who claims they do, who made money in it. We don't know how big this could possibly be. I would suggest looking at the internet in the mid-1990s or any one of these trends that are amazing. So think about in 1995, 97, 98, you have the technology crash coming in 2000. If I came to you and said, I got a great idea. We're going to start a company that's going to have 25% of the world's population on one platform. It's over 2 billion, 2.5 billion people, and all these people are going to tell you exactly what they like. They're going to tell you where they are at the same time, exactly where I am. They're going to post old pictures of their friends and everything. You would have called me an idiot back then. Well, that's Facebook, and it's a $500 billion valuation today. If you look at shale oil in 2010, even 2009, fracking was for natural gas. They didn't think they'd be able to pull oil. In 4 years, we became the largest oil producer in the world. Okay, even cloud computing in 2013, nobody knew how big it would be. AWS for Amazon is a $25 billion market. It's about 7-8 years old. So I want you to try to focus on this and being in the early stages. Instead of thinking, should I buy Bitcoin? Is it going to go to 10,000 or 50,000? It's the questions I'm getting asked. Start learning about this technology because it's real, especially blockchain. Bitcoin is a currency. Blockchain is the platform it trades on. Why is this such a big deal? Well, blockchain is a digital ledger. So, again, not the best description. It's decentralized, which means it goes peer to peer. You don't have a bank in the middle, there's no middlemen, there's no people knowing exactly what you're doing. You have anonymity, you have a market you're removing a lot of the risks within the marketplace, especially the biggest risk of all is security. Why is that such a big risk? Having trouble again. There you go. These are the biggest breaches. This is recently. So Equifax, 145 million people, Experian. All of your data right now, everybody in this room, everybody at this conference is on the black market right now. You're going to get hacked. If you haven't got hacked, you're going to get hacked pretty soon. You might not know that, but believe me. Because if you filled out an auto loan, if you went shopping at Target, if you went shopping at Home Depot, if any credit check, they have your data ready. Just a matter of how they're going to use it immediately. If you were on Ashley Madison, I know a lot of guys are like, oh no, and I'm definitely getting hacked. Any of these sites, we're talking about billions of people, that information that's on the black market right now. Blockchain avoids all of this because it can't be hacked. You may be able to hack a wallet, which is even difficult. When it comes to blockchain, since 2008, this system has been running smoothly the whole entire time. It's encrypted, and the more people that use a system, the more difficult it is to hack. And now you have Bitcoin where millions and millions of people are starting to use this system. Industries blockchain is going to impact. Financials, probably know that already. No more middlemen, no more fees. Can easily transfer assets, right? There's no big brother looking at every one of your transactions. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Bank of America. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is terrible today. Anything that can get hacked will get hacked right now. They put a layer on it, it's not working. We need the system to be upgraded. These companies like Checkpoint Software, Symantec, FireEye. The government. If I had to guess, Jim Rickards, when I interviewed him on my Wall Street Unplugged podcast, this was one of his biggest concerns, was the government being hacked. And he said, it has been hacked. Lockheed, Northrop, think about that for a minute. Our weapons, our technology. Now going forward, voters, you don't have to worry about emails that can't be linked, which would have been really good for maybe Hillary Clinton. But if you look at all these industries, and you can keep going, insurance, consulting, any business that has contracts, and look at the companies that they're going to impact. For example, I don't know how many of you bought a house recently. Say if you didn't pay cash and you had to go through a mortgage, you usually have to sit down and just sign your name on a million pieces of paper. Now they have DocuSign where you can go through this, and then once you sign DocuSign, it's all computerized, especially if you fill out private placement papers and you're getting them, you have to scan them, get it back on the computer, send them over. All that's available for someone to see if they hacked you. With blockchain, you don't have that anymore. It goes directly to the company. It's stored. You have an encryption on it. There's a code that's time-stamped. Investment banking, one of the biggest areas that's getting impacted right now with ICOs. People are investing in ICOs and not even getting equity on a white paper that just says, here, this is what I'm going to do. And $3 billion has been raised in ICOs so far this year. To put that in perspective, that's more money than seed capital going into artificial intelligence, into cloud computing, into Internet of Things. So more people are investing in these ICOs than anything, which is why those companies get infected. And of course, payment services, who's just a middleman. I just started Curzio research recently. Since we're a new company, we get banged out with payment services and fees of close to 5%. To put that in perspective, the average company in the S&P 500 grew about 4 to 5% this quarter. Imagine if you could eliminate that. That's a massive percentage that you could use for blockchain technology. Now, why is this a big deal, and why do I think it's going to impact all these industries? Got it. Financial services firms that are investing in blockchain right now. This is the smart money, guys. A lot of people may not trust the smart money, they may not like it, but trust me, they know what they're doing, they know what their clients doing, they have access to the government, they know what regulations are coming down, and all these guys that I just mentioned on those slides are investing in blockchain technology right now. Talk about MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Citi, Visa, look at the names on this list, JP Morgan, Deloitte. They're not investing in blockchain to make money off it because they think it's the biggest thing in the world. They're investing in it because blockchain is threatening their entire livelihood, their company, their foundation of the company was built on. That's why they're investing in blockchain technology. That tells you that it's real. 3 cryptocurrency stocks. Don't worry, these are not the 3 I'm going to give you. These are the 3 that you got from every other newsletter in the entire industry. I'm just going to cover them. I'm going to give you 3 other ones. Overstock, creating a new exchange, ICO. You can Google it. I'm sure everybody told you about these companies already. One thing to know about NVIDIA and Advanced Micro, they're no longer cryptocurrency plays. Their revenue from last quarter to this quarter for cryptocurrency declined. Now you may think, wow, well, does that mean the trend is slowing down? No, because the one company you could find out if this trend is slowing down is this one, Taiwan Semi. Taiwan Semi is a fascinating company. They manufacture the chips for just about every single semiconductor company in the world. Apple, NVIDIA, AMD, Texas Instruments, Micron. So in a business that has incredibly low margins, these guys have margins of like 50%, and they own a 60% market share of the fab facilities, foundries. So these are the guys that keep everyone secret. They're creating a multi-billion-dollar facility just for Apple to get their products in it. Go to Google, pull up the transcript, and look at the conference call for these guys. They generated $400 million from crypto this quarter. That equals 5% of sales. You may say 5% of sales, not really a crypto play. It was 0 6 months ago. On the call, Goldman Sachs, everybody, the whole call was taken over by crypto. So you have Taiwan that's seeing huge business, but yet NVIDIA and AMD, their revenue is going lower, which means this technology, they don't have the right technology. Doesn't mean they're not good stocks. You could buy them. If you bought them, good for you. But AMD's down, NVIDIA's up. Doesn't matter why it goes up, right? As long as it goes up, you're a genius. But as a play on something like that, or cryptocurrencies, they're just not plays on crypto. Taiwan Semi is seeing huge demand. They don't list their clients, but Bitmain is probably their biggest player right now, who's making the right technology for this. Can't invest in it, but Taiwan Semi is a really good play. I don't know any company that's generating more revenue than that for cryptocurrency. Square accepting Bitcoin. You might say, oh, they're just accepting it. Square is a younger person's technology. If you're not familiar with Square, if you got your hair cut, sometimes you probably have someone use, they put the little thing in their phone, they swipe it, coffee shops. This is the market for cryptocurrencies. So these guys are going to see incredible demand and more demand off of it. Plus, it's already a really good company growing sales 40%. Red Hat is a kind of amazing company. I haven't heard too many people talk about it. Maybe one of the under radar plays that hasn't really benefited from cryptocurrency as much. So they have an open source platform. What does that mean? They generate their software at a platform, and then they let everybody else come and tailor it to their businesses. Really techie, geeky stuff. What you need to know is they're partnering, and they have something called Block Apps. Over 1,000 customers are on this, creating their own Bitcoin and blockchain technology using Red Hat. Because we're talking about a system where mathematicians, we're talking about kids. These kids are smart. You might not think they're smart, but they are. They're brilliant. They're using Red Hat, who has the base of the software, and then creating their own software to mine, data mine, and everything else. So this is a company that I really like here that no one's really talking about with crypto. The point of this presentation, start educating yourselves. If you look at these trends with the internet in mid-1990s, like I told you before, I mentioned earlier, you have email and AOL. Remember, it used to take you 15 seconds to log on. Look how far we've come, where search, Google you can invest in, streaming, Netflix, as speeds got faster, the software, Microsoft, Oracle, gaming systems, where you could just, you used to get a disc and put it in, that was it. Now you could, these systems, PlayStation, Xbox, you could download the new software updates, even on apps. It's amazing how far we've come. Shale oil in 2010. And before this, it was natural gas. And we had, LNG facilities to basically import natural gas at one time, and we had to change them into export facilities because of fracking, horizontal drilling. Now you look at these companies, it created a whole new list of majors, right? You're looking at Pioneer, Continental Resources, EOG, who are main players here that you could have made a ton of money on even late in this stage. Cloud computing, unlimited storage. IBM, Hewlett Packard used to have these big facilities and they used to fill them with Cisco, EMC products and all this stuff. Now everything's going to the cloud, which means what? You could store more data, which means what? Now big data analytics goes on top of that and they figure out exactly what everyone in this room is going to do because we all have patterns and we all do the same things. And they're able to sell you things that you want to buy that you don't even know you're going to buy before you're going to do it. It's fascinating. And then you have throw artificial intelligence in there where robots are basically acting like humans and it gets kind of scary, but you could see how far these trends have come, just like blockchain right now. So educate yourselves, go to conferences, start learning about it because this is an industry that's not going to make you a millionaire. It's going to make you even more if you invest in the right technology. So it's not go buy Bitcoin at 7,800 or 8,000. Start learning the trading facilities, start learning the technology, ask a lot of questions because many people think they're experts at this and they're not even me. I'm learning something new every day about this. It's fascinating. And that's why we're launching a brand new crypto newsletter in January. So I'm in negotiations with a hedge fund manager who's basically stepped down, who's amazing, who's been here for a long time, been around for a long time, that's just been focusing on cryptocurrencies for the past year, who knows a lot more than me about this. We're pretty close to signing them, just doing the final details. Focus on the next stage of blockchain technology. We're going to be attending these conferences for you. We're going to be providing live videos, getting the right people in front of you so we could all learn together about what the next stage is. That's going to include stock picks. It's going to include ICOs, which is a really crazy market. But if you're investing in the right companies, I've seen these companies do incredibly well and make people millionaire by investing $10,000, $15,000. So I think having a newsletter out there, it's kind of the standard and telling you what's right, what's not, and having the most important people on that platform is a way that everybody can educate themselves. And that's how I would basically play blockchain and also Bitcoin. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Hopefully I got that done in time. Thanks.